the audience please be seated? Good morning. My name is Chris Ireland. I'm the Dean of the College of Pharmacy. On behalf of all of the college faculty, staff, and students, I welcome you to the commencement exercises for the class of 2013. Commencement is really an important event for us here in the college. It represents for our students the culmination of many years of commitment to their education and oftentimes a tremendous amount of sacrifice financially, not only for them, but also for their families. For us older folks here, it's an opportunity to don our regalia and to reminisce about what our graduation day was like. I'm quite proud of my regalia. My grandchildren refer to it as Grandpa's bumblebee suit. But it really has great meaning and significance to me. And the regalia really tells the story or the history of each of our educations. So for example, the number of chevrons on our sleeves tells you the highest degree that we have earned. And the colors on our tassels and the colors on our hoods tell you the disciplines that we studied and also the universities that we attended. So if you had a decoder ring, you'd know that looking at my bumblebee suit, that I have a PhD in oceanography and I went to Scripps Institution of Oceanography. If you look around you and see everyone wearing regalia today, you'll notice that there are many different colors, which signifies that we all come from different universities, we all come from very different disciplines, but we're really united in one thing, and that's in being educators. And so the reason that we are here today is really to celebrate the fruits of our labor and to enjoy the results of our teaching and our mentoring as we look into the eyes of the class of 2013. And for us up here, looking out at you, it's really very reassuring for us to appreciate that looking at you, we can feel confident that the future is in good hands. So please join me in recognizing the class of 2013. Before we get into the actual ceremony, I want to introduce a few special guests. In particular, I want to recognize Mr. David Huntsman, who's here with us on the podium. Mr. Huntsman is a member of the University of Utah Board of Trustees. I also, on behalf of the students, want to recognize Tim Cox, who's... Tim, stand up. Did I get that right? Richard Cox. Richard is the representative from the Alumni Association, and he will be here to welcome you into the Alumni Association. He's a graduate of the college in 2002, and certainly wants you to appreciate that even though you're leaving us today, we want you to come back and we want you to remain engaged. Richard will also have a role in the proceedings at the end of the services as he will present you with an alumni pin as you leave the stage. I also want to recognize a number of people in my staff who have worked very hard to make this ceremony successful. As you know, it takes a lot of people to put something together, and I don't get any of the credit for doing that. All I have to do is stand up here. So in particular, I'm going to ask a few people to stand up and be recognized. The first one is Marion Lenberg. Marion. She's hiding way in the back. Stephanie Shu. Here. Denise Brennis. Where's Denise at? Where'd she go? She's also hiding in the back. And then also Laura Hamilton. As I said, a lot of these things wouldn't happen without the help of a staff that keeps me on track and keeps me from getting out in trouble. I also want to recognize what's becoming a tradition in the college. We started several years ago having live music, which I think really enriches this event, and so I want to thank the Zen Trio. There they go. The Zen Trio has provided the entertainment and very lovely background music for us for the last few years. And finally, in the way of recognition, I want each of the graduates to stand up. All right, now turn around. And you should each find your family and say thank you. All right. Thank you very much. So before we start handing out some awards and some diplomas, I wanted to give you a little bit of background on the college. We are quite proud of the College of Pharmacy here at the University of Utah. We have outstanding faculty, and as you see today, we have outstanding students. What distinguishes us is that our faculty and our students are recognized for their accomplishments not only within the state of Utah, but also nationally and internationally. For example, we are the number 3 ranked College of Pharmacy for National Institutes of Health research funding in the country. And we are also the number 10 College of Pharmacy for the PharmD program. And this is the 10th and the 3rd. There are 139 colleges of pharmacy in the United States. So this is really an accomplishment that all of us here at the college enjoy and really cherish. And it's a reflection of all the hard work that goes into this. Into the college by everybody in the college. As you look through your programs, you'll notice that we do offer quite a few degrees. You can see the breadth of the studies that are done in this college. Today we will offer 5 Masters of Science degrees, 12 Doctor of Philosophy degrees, and 57 PharmD degrees. So it really is a very diversified college. The graduates today will go on to careers in a wide variety of areas. Some will become community pharmacists, some will become specialists in clinical care, some will become biomedical researchers, and some will be involved in healthcare policy. And I think this says a great deal about what the college believes is important. And again, the scope of the types of research and education that goes on in this college. Now, I know that I told the graduating class the other day that I'd like to think that I was your favorite teacher, even though I never got nominated for that award. But I still hope that you look at all of your professors and think about some of you wanting to go into the educational ranks. I think the future leaders sit in this room with us today, and I encourage you to embrace that role and really think hard about whether you want to go into academics or whether you're going to go into government, into healthcare reform, healthcare provision. Be a leader in that area. I think that's a challenge that you should all recognize is available to you. And I encourage you again to really think hard about what you've learned, but more importantly, this is the beginning and what it is that you're going to do with the education that you have. So again, I ask everyone to join me in recognizing the class of 2013. So let's talk about awards. If you look in your program, you will see that there are a number of inserts. We had a senior banquet on Tuesday, and you'll notice that there are several pages of awards that were handed out to different students and faculty on that day, and I won't go over all of those today, but I do want to highlight just a couple of those. The first are our graduates that belong to honor societies. So it turns out 21 of our graduates today belong to different honor societies. So again, I think that says a great deal about this class. And there are two groups in particular that I want to give a shout out to. The first are the members of the Rokai Pharmacy Honors Student. They're listed in your program, but I would ask all of the Rokai members in the class of 2013 to please stand up. Thank you. The second group are the members of the Pharmacy Leadership Group, or the Phi Lambda Sigma organization. This is an honor society that's focused specifically on leadership, and each of the colleges has a PLS chapter, and each year they compete in a competition to develop the best leadership project in the country, and it's called the Leadership Challenge. This year, our PLS chapter won the National Leadership Challenge. So I'll ask all PLS members to please stand up. So at graduation last night, President Pershing indicated that we had a record number of graduates this year, approaching 8,000 graduates from the University of Utah yesterday. And all those degrees, including the individuals sitting before you, had their degrees conferred formally upon them last night. But what I thought was one of the interesting statistics that President Pershing brought out was that of those 8,000, 13 students were recognized across the University of Utah as Bennion Center Service Learning Scholars. This is a designation through the Lowell Bennion Center. It recognizes students that are focused on service learning. They are required to do a very rigorous project to earn that designation. And of those 13 in the entire 8,000 graduates, we have 2 of them with us today as members of this class. And they are Cammie Roque and Courtney Farron. Ladies, please stand up. So each year we assign the honor to, or not we, but the class, or the classes, assign the honor of Teacher of the Year. As I said, I'm sad to say my name didn't show up again this year. But each class designates a Teacher of the Year. And so I'm going to ask two faculty members to step forward onto the stage. They are Ryan Van Wagener and Tom Cheatham. Gentlemen, please come forward. Stand right there. So the P1 Teacher of the Year is Dr. Ryan Van Wagener from the Department of Medicinal Chemistry. Gentleman on the left. The P2 Teacher of the Year is Tom Cheatham, the gentleman on my left, also from the Department of Medicinal Chemistry. I have a plaque for them and a cash award. So the P3 Teacher of the Year was Professor Mark Munger, who's the Associate Dean for Academic Affairs. Unfortunately, Mark was unable to be with us today. And the P4 Teacher of the Year, who was honored at the senior banquet but also was unable to be here today with us, is Karen Gunning. And Professor Karen Gunning is in the Department of Pharmacotherapy. I also need to tell you that Professor Gunning was named the College Teacher of the Year as well. So that's quite a great honor for Dr. Gunning, one that she was quite pleased with, and as the graduates know, she gave a very impassioned speech to you all on Tuesday, challenging you to think, and I think her term was, use your pharmacy brain. So please remember that and think about Karen Gunning when you do. So again, thank you to all of our Teachers of the Year. Finally, in the way of awards, one of the greatest honors that can be bestowed upon a faculty member in the University of Utah is to be designated or to receive an endowed chair. Endowed chairs are a way that faculty are recognized for excellence. They are usually awards that are funded through gifts from friends of the college or from foundations. And we were very fortunate to have an alumnus who unfortunately passed away last year, who endowed in his will the funds to create an endowed chair. And so William Drosky believed very much in this college. They say he graduated in 1951, so he was one of our first classes. Believes so strongly that in his will he designated this gift. And it's my honor to appoint the first William Drosky Endowed Chair in Pharmacy, Professor Eric Schmidt. Okay, now we get to the fun part. We had a wonderful speaker last night at General Commencement who was very inspiring and taught us, I think, a couple of really important lessons One being that always be happy with what you have and always look at the next challenge as the next opportunity. And I don't think I can give the class any better advice. And one of the things that we decided to do a couple years ago now was, rather than to try to compete with the commencement speaker for the university and bring someone in to speak, that it was actually more valuable for us to hear from graduating students and to hear what they have to say, not only about life, about experience, literally anything that they want to talk about. And so we have 2 students today who are going to address us on behalf of the graduating class. They have been given no instruction on what they can or cannot say. And so I look forward to hearing from them, and I'm sure you will be inspired by them. Our first speaker will be Dr. Matt Alvey on behalf of the PharmD students, and then he will be followed by Dr. Neil Hendrickson, who will speak on behalf of the PhD and master students. Matt, come forward.
I have to lean down a little now. My kid's potty stool, it's a little too high for me at the podium. So when I received the phone call from Stephanie informing me that I had been selected to speak at a graduation, my very first thought was what I had done to offend so many of you out there. After getting over that initial shock, though, I realized what an incredible opportunity it is to speak to such an intelligent, motivated group of upcoming pharmacists. And I say upcoming pharmacists, but that's not exactly true. You are pharmacists. You're here. You've made it. We are now wearing what some would call the robes of honor. Others would call them clown costumes. But whatever you call them, we're wearing them. And in a few minutes, we're going to walk across the stage, and we're going to graduate. And it is a great honor. So I asked Stephanie, I said, well, how long should I talk for? Because like you said, there was no instruction at all. And she said, 5 minutes. I said, okay. I said, well, what do I talk on? And she goes, what do you talk on? And I hear Marion in the background yelling, how much fun pharmacy school was! And I realized why they said 5 minutes, because I only needed 2 minutes to talk about. I made a New Year's resolution this year to run a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, and a full marathon within the year. That's 3.1, 6.2, 13.1, and 26.2 miles, respectively. As I was finishing one of these races the other day, last week, and seriously questioning my sanity on this decision and this goal, I noticed that I had been passed at the beginning of the race by an 8-year-old. And I continued to follow him for the rest of the race, and I couldn't pass him. And at first I justified it in my mind. I said, well, he must be the exception to nature, just kind of built for running. And then I noticed there were a group of 4 8-year-olds out in front of me. And so then I had to switch tactic, and I started using my rational, logical pharmacist brain. I said, well, I remember in physics class, they taught us the pull of 2 objects is greater when the masses are greater. And I had 50 kilograms on these kids. So obviously, gravity was pulling me down harder than it was them. If I had been able to go downhill in this race, I could have beaten them. But there was no downhill, and I didn't beat them. They They beat me, and I didn't win this race, but I completed this race, and that was my goal. I'd come out and I had run my race, and I had finished my race. We have just finished our race, and as I completed this race, I crossed the finish line, and I was ecstatic, and I had my moment of triumph, and it was quickly followed by, holy crap, this was just the 5K. I have a long ways to go. I don't know. In fact, I have 42 and a half miles of race to go, not to mention all the training. I figure by the time I get done with the training and the running, I would have run hundreds of miles to complete this goal. And as I said, we just completed our 5K, guys. We're just starting. And it doesn't matter, that our endeavor is the remaining part. It doesn't matter whether you're going on residency. It doesn't matter where you choose to live and practice, or what specialty you decide to go into. Our challenge is to push forward, to continue our training, and to complete our race. This 5K wasn't downhill at all times, as any student or their spouses can tell us. In fact, there were plenty of uphills. I took a quick poll, and we had 17 babies born. We had 10 marriages, the loss of 15 loved ones. 5 people lost their jobs, and 7 homes were purchased or sold within the last 4 years. At times, some of us were sprinting hard, running fast during the race. Some of us stumbled at times during the race. But we all finished. We're finishing together. I hope as we look back at our time in pharmacy school that we can remember the good along with the bad. I know right now, fresh on my mind, is a pretty embarrassing moment. I remember we were sitting in Dr. LaFleur's class, and somehow the Bluetooth on my phone had been turned on, and it proceeded to then try to connect to her computer. And right there, on the slide, during the middle of the lecture, it pops up, warning, Matt's phone is trying to connect to your computer. Luckily, there are 2 Matts in our class, and it didn't give a last name. But as I think about it, there were plenty of good times. There were plenty of happy times. The study groups, the memories of great presentations, not while I was giving them, obviously, but when I was watching. And I hope that all of you, when you look back on these 4 years, remember those good times. I'm proud to call you guys my classmates, and I'm glad to call you guys my pharmacists. Thank you.
I'm going to take that off. First, I'd like to thank all the faculty, all the family, and all the friends who have come here today. And congratulations to all the graduates. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the awkward nature of having me, in particular, give this address. I wish I could tell juicy stories about the deeds and the misdeeds of all the graduates here, but being a PhD student, I didn't take a lot of classes with all of you guys, and I was spent a lot of time staring at my computer doing research, so I don't have those stories. Instead, I must try to go the inspirational route. But this is decidedly unfortunate because of the many things I've learned during graduate school. It is to be a pessimist. I'm not a black cloud over my head type of pessimist, but I'm a realist pessimist. I'm a there ain't no way that's going to work the first time pessimist. So rather than give a truly inspirational speech, this is more of a self-motivational pep talk flavored with a little bit of my graduate school pessimism. At some point a few weeks ago, I was searching on Wikipedia, trying to settle some debate about graduation hood colors or something, and I noticed a disturbing phrase about doctorate degrees. Graduates, do you realize that what we're getting today is called a terminal degree? It's not a pinnacle degree or a zenith degree, it's terminal. We are in the final days of end-stage education. Hopefully you've made arrangements for your end-of-education care. Parents and family and friends, I found a nice description of the stages that your graduate may have been experiencing after receiving the diagnosis of terminal degree. The first stage is disbelief. Most graduates are shocked that it could happen to them, and there's some extreme anxiety, especially about the unknown. Shock, despair, and anger are common. There's also guilt that perhaps the person has done something wrong to receive such a diagnosis. Some individuals may use humor as a psychological defense mechanism. Others become helpless and start to bargain. This first stage lasts a few days to a few weeks. The second stage is depression, which is usually a reaction to the diagnosis. And the depression is mild to moderate and needs family support, only in rare cases and any type of medical therapy required. Duration of the depression can often last several weeks, but soon fades, and the person goes into the final stage of acceptance. Now that, of course, is the stages for terminal illness, but there's some similarities I noticed. All right, but that's pessimistic stuff, morbid. So rather than think about terminal degrees, I began to daydream about an alternative question. What would you do next if your lifespan was 500 or 1,000 years long? There are so many opportunities in life. Imagine having that much time to experience all of them. Unfortunately, my pessimism has gotten the better of me because the central point of this self-motivational pep talk today is your opportunities are endless, but your life is not. That's not an inspiring slogan, but here's why I like it. Because your life is not endless, there's urgency. There is a deadline. I am challenging myself and everyone else to make a contribution before that deadline. Over human history, that is the one thing that truly endures. When you make a meaningful contribution to others, the world remembers it. It may be professional, or it may be as a hobby. It may be service to others or service to the environment, but in classrooms, in research labs, in hospital clinics, in soup kitchens, in backyards, in national forests, writing desks, recording studios, and everywhere in between, people are making a real contribution. Making a contribution doesn't just happen, you have to work at it. And I'm going to argue that you have to narrow yourself, focus yourself, single-mindedly dedicate yourself in a way that isn't always easy. You might have to give up a variety of pursuits in order to make a lasting contribution. To illustrate this, I want you to visualize a springtime tree with me. You can look at the ones behind us. There is a thick, sturdy trunk which gives way to smaller branches. At the very tips of the tree are complicated networks of tiny twigs and budding leaves. This is a metaphor for human contribution. The trunk is safe and sturdy. It's broad and easy, and many others have gone before you in the trunk. If you are part of a trunk, you won't make much change over the years. In contrast, the tips of the twigs are tiny and focused and single-minded. They don't always survive a windstorm, but they are blooming, they are growing, and they are creating new seeds of life. So here's the challenge to myself and to everyone else. To make a contribution, don't spread yourself over a variety of pursuits. Dedicate yourself to a specific goal, because your opportunities may be endless, but your life is not. Graduates of 2013, I'm confident that we can make a contribution. Hey, maybe I'm not so much of a pessimist after all. Congratulations to everyone. Thank you.
All right. Are you ready? The time has now come. David? So, the way this will work is we'll have organizers line up. You all know the order to which you are to go, right? Which row is which. David will read off the names. I will hand you your diploma as you come up the stairs. You will then be greeted by the front row here of our distinguished guests, beginning with our trustee, David Huntsman. And then at the end, you will be greeted by the Alumni Association, where Richard will give you your pin. And we've set up an area here for families to take pictures, to try to facilitate that. So with that, let's go.
Matt's a man after my own heart. I'm not going to use the stool today. It's indeed a great honor, class of 2013, for me to stand before you and read your names as you graduate. If you remember, 4 short years ago, I stood before you at the white coat ceremony and did the exact same thing. And so it means a lot to me and to our faculty for me to honor you today. And Matt, the answer to your 5K is, I'm not exactly sure how your time turned out on this last week, but your 5K in school started at your timing on your 5K in school is 3 years, 8 months, 9 days, and about 2 hours. So I think you did a little bit better probably this past weekend. So with that, we'll have the first row stand up and make their way towards the stage. Ready? Okay. Stephanie Adams Barris. And hooding today is Dr. James Herron. Ethan Allen. Elizabeth Allen. Matthew Alvey. Jason Barrows. Sean Barrett. And our next student, Marissa Brailsford, is a PharmD PhD student as well, and hooding, I believe, is Dr. Daryl Davis. Oh, sorry. Oh, my mistake, sorry. Marissa Brailsford is not a PharmD PhD student, she's just a PharmD student. Can't read my own handwriting. That's another trait of being in school too long. Sorry, Marissa. Spencer Brown, on the other hand, is a PharmD PhD student, and he's going to be hooded by Dr. Daryl Davis. Benjamin Bruno is a PharmD PhD student, and he'll be hooded by Dr. Carol Lim. Trent Carter. Matthew Chin. Adam Cooper. Sydney Corbett. Nathan Crow. Cynthia Din. Nicholas Estrada. Courtney Farron.
Very well. Let me just trim this off on the back.
Alexandra Fife.
Minnesota, isn't it?
Yeah, don't you know?
Clarissa Gregory. Landon Hatfield.
That's the way it is. Congratulations.
Michael Helm.
Congratulations. Thank you. Nice work.
Kathleen Hoffman.
Last couple of years. Best wishes. Let me turn the colors out. It's all
Kevin Housekeeper.
You may want to readjust it.
Kristen Housekeeper.
Read that in your class. Remember that
Thank you. Kristen, nice work.
Emily Hunter.
sequence off.
Silly us.
Oh, wait a second, I gotta make sure that the red and the white show back. Okay. And I think you will need to readjust that back to square.
Tyler Hussey. Michaela Hawkes.
Nice work. Good luck.
Robin Jameson. Amberly Johnson.
Good work. Thank you.
Timothy Johnson. Catherine Keller.
Red and white showing back here.
What?
Just
Thomas Kerr. Miles Klein.
Congratulations.
Nice work.
Thank you.
Jonathan Magnus.
His response for all the audience. That's right. Okay.
Eric McGill.
Okay, Eric, it's been fun working with you these past 2 years. Appreciate it. Good luck in all of your future endeavors. Sure, nice work. Good luck.
Robin Mickelson.
So I filled out there earlier, I guess, is you get a picture for the roll.
Jason Morris. Scott Nelson.
Jason, good luck.
Scott, it's been great working with you these past years. Thanks a lot for doing what you did for us in the summer.
I'm going to do a fellowship with the VA in medical.
That sounds like fun.
Juan Nguyen.
Glad to be up here after many years. I want to make sure your white and red show there.
Kalpan Patel.
There's your already.
Damian Powers.
These past 10 years. Best wishes to you.
Paul Reeve.
These past 2 years. Best wishes for your pursuits.
Megan Reich. Cami Roque. Tyson Rockwell.
Tyson's been working on these past 2 years. Should have here, red and white on the back. Yeah, best wishes to you.
Leslie Schertz.
Great being your mentor. Best wishes for the next few years. You may want to read history here. It's travel.
Colgan Sloan.
I don't know what to say. You are the man. Okay. Thanks, Craig.
Eric Sorensen.
I always like the various questions you ask in class. Very good questions. This was just
Laura Sower.
Congratulations.
Katie Taylor. Sonia Trin. I've had a wardrobe malfunction.
Kept by the dean and hooded by me, so the double treatment. I want to just get your color shine out back. Okay, that looks good. Oh, but best wishes to you.
Emily Turley. Is there a hairstylist in the audience?
Malfunction. We'll try to keep that out. Okay. Best wishes to you.
Catherine Walter.
Been fun to have you in class. Best wishes to you. White shirt.
Rachel Woolston. Michael Wright.
Last couple of years of seminar. I also like your purple tie.
Bui Chuan.
A lot of fun other classes. You're a really smart guy. I really enjoyed the topics that you came up with.
And that concludes our PharmD Doctor of Pharmacy program. Now we'll have the Master's candidates in pharmacotherapy. First off is Jason Braithwaite, hooded by mentor Dr. Nancy Nickman.
Now make your hip
Also with his MS in pharmacotherapy, Matthew Rim, hooded by mentor Dr. Nancy Nickman. Now we have PhD candidates in medicinal chemistry. First is Neil Hendrickson. And he'll be hooded by Dr. Thomas Cheatham. Rushikesh Kulkarni, he'll be hooded by his mentor, Dr. Amy Barrows. Andrew Steiner, and he'll be hooded by Dr. Greg Blue-Eye. And now we have PhDs in pharmaceutics and pharmaceutical chemistry. First off is Brandon Buckway, and he'll be hooded by Dr. Hamid Gandhare. And we have Emmett Carr, will be hooded by Dr. Paul Shami. And now we have PhDs in pharmacology and toxicology, and both of these two students have also earned their Masters in Clinical Investigation. First off, Jessica Roberts. She'll be hooded by one of her faculty mentors, Dr. Chris Riley. Her other faculty mentor, Dr. Gary Yost, is a guest up front. We're going to pause for a sec because Gary wants to give his mentee a hug. And David Wushner. ably hooded by Dr. Carol Lynn, who is a faculty mentor. His other faculty mentor, Dr. Kristen Keefe.
David, congratulations. Good luck.
Okay, that is our class of 2013. Please join me one more time in recognizing them. Okay, I'm now going to ask Dr. Diana Brixner, who's the chair of pharmacotherapy, to come forward and administer the pharmacist's oath.
Thank you so much, Dean Ireland. It is always a pleasure for me to administer the apothecary oath to the graduating PharmD class. It's a particular honor for me today to be in front of this class, and there's two reasons for that. The first reason is I'm so thrilled because 3 of you are going to actually be continuing your careers in our Department of Pharmacotherapy. 2 of you will be coming into fellowship training, and 1 of you will be pursuing a second terminal degree, their PhD, in our program. So we're very thrilled about that. The second reason I'm thrilled is I have my 11-year-old daughter here today, and I know that all of you are giving her tremendous inspiration in the same way that you're giving that inspiration to all of your friends and family that are here today. But alas, for the PharmDs, there is one last step. That is your oath to be a pharmacist. So let me give you the instructions of how this will go. I have 7 statements, sub-statements, that you will all be saying I will to. There is a header statement and then a closing statement that you also will be saying I will when you complete that sentence. So I'm going to ask all of you now to stand as I go through the oath to be a pharmacist. The first sentence, I promise to devote myself to a lifetime of service to others through the profession of pharmacy. Very good. That was your warm-up. Okay. In fulfilling this vow, I will now give you seven statements. After each one, you will say, I will. Statement 1. I will consider the welfare of humanity and relief of suffering my primary concerns. I will. Excellent. I will apply my knowledge, experience, and skills to the best of my ability to assure optimal outcomes for my patients. I will respect and protect all personal and health information entrusted to me. I will accept the lifelong obligation to improve my professional knowledge and competence. I will hold myself and my colleagues to the highest principles of our profession's moral, ethical, and legal conduct. I will embrace and advocate changes that improve patient care. And last, I will utilize my knowledge, skills, experiences, and values to prepare the next generation of pharmacists. And then your concluding statement, I take these vows voluntarily with the full realization of the responsibility with which I am entrusted by the public. Thank you so much, and congratulations.
Please be seated. Okay, so we've drawn to the end, which is really the beginning. I believe that we have prepared you to go out and to practice as professionals and to make a difference in the health care of our population and our world. What I think we haven't done is I don't think we have fully prepared you for what your practice might look like 20 years from now. Because I don't think there's any way we really can do that other than to teach you basic skills, teach you problem-solving skills, instill in you a desire for lifelong learning, and really hope that you will think about the care of your patients, whether you're directly interacting with patients or whether you're working in the pharmaceutical industry on new medications and new therapies that will help the general public. And so, as you go forward with your heads up, your eyes open. And so when you see the next big challenge, you are ready for it. As we heard last night, the most important thing that you can do is when you see adversity or when you see change, don't be afraid of it. Change is opportunity, and I anticipate that all of you will take advantage of the opportunity to lead that change and create what will be the new healthcare model, not only in this country but around the world for the next 20 to 30 years. So we now indoctrinate you into a fraternity, a professional fraternity where we are all colleagues and we are all peers. And I hope that we are friends. And so I'm going to ask you the question I asked you on Tuesday. If I see you in the clinic, I will call you doctor. If you see me on the golf course or at the grocery store, do you remember what my name is? What is it? Oh, that was cruel. All right, I'm going to let you go, but you better learn my name, because I'm going to come looking for you. Again, my deepest appreciation for your commitment to your careers, and I think your families deserve tremendous credit for their support of you, and I look forward to what this class is going to do during their career. So again, thank you very much. So I'll ask the audience to stand and to remain standing during the procession, first from the podium and then from the students. Once we all have precessed out into this area,